This month, State Superintendent Ryan Walters has been presenting multiple plans for Oklahoma schools and students, but today was the day he had to present those plans before a group of people who will need to give their blessing if some of those things are going to happen at all. A group of people appointed by Walters' now political foe, Governor Kevin Stitt, and specifically told to challenge what Walters says. If State Superintendent Ryan Walters expects to carry out his free school lunch program, he first needs the support of the State Board of Education.
I want to be really clear. This is not a funding issue. It's a spending issue. Schools have record amounts of funding.
Thursday morning, it was clear the board wasn't fully on board with the proposal yet and questioned the numbers game behind it.
But I just looking at the math, 6% of 300 million is 18 million.
Yeah.
But that's not 42, so I didn't know what the discrepancy was there.
Walters says schools are sitting on millions of dollars in extra unused cash that is being hoarded by administrators when they could be shifted to pay for free school lunches in districts like Broken Arrow and Bixby that don't already offer it to all students.
They have millions of dollars in carryover funds. We have put those numbers out there. They are sitting on a lot of money. They are sitting on a lot of child nutrition money. They have grown administrative costs to the highest level in state history.
Board members say they've not only gone to districts to find out the truth about their funding situation, some of the districts reached out to them to say they're being asked to use money in ways that aren't legally allowed.
Are those people just making up those numbers? I mean, are they wrong? Or
Yeah.
Not being.
Yeah, they're gaslighting the people of Oklahoma. And I know that
decorum, please. Hey, this is a public meeting, please.
Yeah, the woke peanut gallery doesn't like that, but listen.
Walters says districts are openly lying about their finances and threatened audits and accreditation downgrades for any of them trying to sidestep his lunch plan with what he says is questionable accounting.
I would just like somebody at the department to do that math and provide that to us so we understand.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't see the letter that you're referring to, but 42 is a big difference from 181.
Board members say they haven't dismissed the superintendent's plan, but they want to see his math and have Walters show his work on how to pay for the plan, while also working on figuring out if claims about districts having extra money sitting in the bank are accurate before they move forward. Last week, I had on the program Republican State Representative Dick Lowe. He is the chairman of the House Education Appropriations Committee, which pretty much handles the education part of the state's budget. Like Walters, he is a conservative, a Republican, and a teacher. And I asked him about the claims that schools are sitting on stacks of unused cash. Here's what he said about that. Are school districts sitting on stacks of cash that could easily pay for free lunch?
Well, let's if when you get into it, and I'm an old school guy. Both my parents were teachers. I was a teacher, was involved in schools for years. You realize when you start talking about carryover, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different aspects. What would be paid for out of this would now be general fund carryover. No, there is not schools sitting on just piles of money that's been thrown out there. Now we have bond money this voted by the patrons of the school district. There is also building repair money in there. There is so there's about 3 or 4 pots that have to be spent exactly for what that money's for. They just can't be moved back over to general revenue. Now, the notion I've been hearing is, we can just take money out of administration. Well, that does come through general funds. I agree with that, but you just can't pull money out of an area. One thing about it, I don't know anybody out there who wants to say, okay, let's just cut salaries. Well, Oklahoma doesn't quite work that way. We have a salary schedule. Of course, now administration, a lot of that is up to the local districts. We try to stay local control. Oklahoma is a local control state. We don't want to have a state-run school. Now, there's some things that we do have to put out there, and it's statewide. But for the most part, we try to keep it local control. This takes all the local control out and puts it in maybe one group's hands or one person's hands. And that's not the way we do it. And I'm proud to be an Okie. We do things right here. We care about each other. We run through a democratic system, not an authoritative system.
Did you hear what he just said? We are not an authoritarian system. That is the key here. Walters does not have the authority to do something like this on his own. Many times in videos that have come out of his office and on cable news over the years, he says things like, we, as in Oklahoma, we are going to do something. And what you'll find if you dig in is that half the time Walters can do some things on his own as part of his office, but other times it's not his job, but the job of the legislature to implement some of these changes and policies. A lesson that was learned last spring when he tried to collect immigration information at enrollment, and even Republicans at the state capitol said making policy like that is their job, not his, and voted down that proposal. If Walters wants to get this approved, here is how it's going to have to go. And this was the same for Joy Hoffmeister, Janet Barisi, Sandy Garrett, and so on and so on. The superintendent proposes an agency rule, a rule change being a change in how the Department of Education will interpret the law. That rule change must get State Board of Education approval. The State Board of Education are all appointments made by the governor. If that board approves that, depending on the time of the year, it will need direct approval from the governor and later the legislature. Some things to keep in mind, especially right now. Stitt and Walters are apparently not on good terms with each other, and Lowe says many state lawmakers are not really inclined at the moment to approve of this lunch plan. The state board members also pushed back on Walters' new announcement that OSDE is helping an out-of-state company set up what Walters calls a non-woke online private school.
I understand the statutes regarding at least a tax credit going to people who opt out.
Sure.
That is only applies to schools within Oklahoma, as I read the statute. So I don't know how. It looks like it would take a legislative act to be able to bring other schools in.
No, they have an address in Oklahoma as well, so they're eligible.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so that leads kind of to my question. They have an address, but they're not actually physically here in our state.
Walters says the American Virtual Academy, run by Verano Learning Partners, will be an option soon for Oklahoma families that can use the parental choice tax credit for enrolling their students. Despite Walters saying we reported wrong on the school, the founder of the school in Arizona actually tweeted praise for Walters on social media, celebrating the announcement. Board members expressed concerns that the academy is out of state, which by law does not qualify for a voucher, but Walters says they will have an Oklahoma address that helps them qualify. Board members say they are concerned that the American Virtual Academy, operating as Primavera in Arizona, is being kicked out of their state's charter school program and has delivered nothing but failing grades and falling test scores.